Everybody from every age, I want to show you something strange. Something autism. This is autism everywhere. I am the Telenor from under your bed. I scared the president, so I'll just spread. I am Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh yeah, this is happening. Oh yeah, this is happening. Oh yeah. I am Thomas the Train. I train every day your big gross brain. This is autism. This is autism. This is autism. I'm never doing this again. Horror, spooky web horror. After Silent Hill, I was introduced to creepypastas. It was one of my first forays into actual horror, often using existing properties. Imagine if your childhood was scary. It is such an autistic way to view horror, since a lot of our special interests appear during childhood. So maybe it is a bit related for a longing of the past. Do not worry, my childhood had its scary moments. Courage the Cowardly Dog can testify. For some reason, Courage the Cowardly Dog did not scare me as a child. I guess I was scared enough by Unagi the Eel in Mario 64, so nothing else fazed me, till I grew up I guess. However, I'd say RPG horror games were far more efficient ways at tackling scary themes using the cutest, most fluffy character designs. Yes, it is Wada Nohara, the cute game about essay, this word and trauma. I love it because for the first 3 hours, the title is a mostly nice, understandable story about war. Too bad there's a big, genre-changing twist that happens after that, making you feel unsure about what's going to happen next. It's like an horror version of Metal Gear Solid 2, or an earlier example of secret horror like Doki Doki Literature Club. Being like JRPGs, it has the same kind of beat, almost pretentious dialogue with a focus on the aspects of shock and horror instead of the usual angst. This probably is the most autistic way to introduce horror. I'd say Corpse Party, next to Rekinder, gave the birth to the genre. I'm going to be honest, the Corpse Party remake has too much fluff dialogue compared to the original, adding even more characters, so the Corpse Party remake feels like maximum autism. Too bad it bores me by adding too much dialogue to too many characters at too much time. The original one has far more gameplay, and that's saying something. Never mind that though, because there exists worse things I'd call even more autistic. Alan Tutorial feels so damn autistic. It's about someone barely holding it together who was abused, but still tries to enjoy life. If that did not mirror my abusive relationships, nothing can. Even society hates neurodivergent people. God, it's horrifying. However, my introduction to Alan's work, a Tumblr post by Pan Pizza, who told everyone, "Hey, this house has people in it," is horrifying. So I watched it and dang, I tried to understand what was going on, but I couldn't. I also both laughed and screamed within seconds. The family acts in ways so different from everything I've seen, it's horrifying. It feels like Adult Swim decided to look at the way neurodivergent people see normal people, while pushing the absurdity of the way normal family behave. The aesthetics of found footage makes it feel also familiar yet foreign at the same time, like a family VHS you forgot about that was left in your basement, but spooky. There's even a website where you can go through an autistic rabbit hole. Same thing with the unedited footage of a bear. That has this very unsettling website you can fall in love with. Creepy, flash game included. This house has people in it. Feels like just a very autistic kind of horror. Yes, too many cooks exist. And every single time I hear someone that song, I will info dump them about Alan's other works. Trust me. I also enjoyed the comedy/horror blend of The House of Man. My god, are these characters acting awkward to the point where even the calls from the audience make more sense. I don't know where you can watch it, but it breeds awkwardness. So as someone autistic, painfully trying to understand a world that feels alien, it works here too. As much as mainstream horror has gems, I feel like indie horror made on the budget of a sandwich feels the most autistic to me. Remnants of a cool artsy movie, barely keeping it together. I'd say Marble Hornets to the Ark or Alan Tutorial allowed indie horror to be even more than just found footage, while relying on mixed media. I like found footage when it's done right, but it's not always very experimental, especially when compared to all the stuff that followed. Unfortunately, Patricia Taxon talked plenty about how autistic Don't Tongue Me I'm Scared was, so I don't have anything new to add. I'll just link it in the description. What I want to add is Poochie and Pansy. The ARG aspect of Poochie and Pansy feels like a rabbit hole, but not necessarily an autistic one. However, I say it's the Microsoft Paint animations that are autistic because these are cute, colorful, marketable characters animated in the worst way possible, feeling like an autistic cartoon someone would make in the early 2000s using their OC. The horror itself feels very amateurish too, as random spooky images that are thrown at you in order to scare the viewer. I feel like it summarized what horror from 2010 felt like. Do I need to explain what all of these random images are? Poochie and Pansy is an amateurish attempt at cartoon horror, so I think it was a sign of things to come. Clear Lakes 44 was a sequel to the famous Marble Hornets, but it isn't autistic enough to my taste. Egva though. Egva is a barely coherent mess about a channel called Egva that is broadcasted exclusively to a certain TV to a certain viewer. It uses so many formats, including a mixed media cartoon, that every episode feels unique, to the point where I'm like, what will happen next? I'd say a lot of these episodes remind me of Dreamcore as well as other internet horrors that fuel my autism. However, for some reason, the format changes to a visual novel, because of course, it has even more cartoon characters this time, so it feels even more autistic. It's just that this was restricted to Twitter polls on the Egva account, so it was nowhere near as popular as it is on Twitter. Elon Musk made things even worse. I still prefer the itch.io release, since this kind of title belongs to itch.io. Surreal horror feels great to me, and Swipe Cup work well in my opinion. At the time, Let's Plays weren't as popular as they once were. That is, aside from the main Let's Play channels. So creating a Let's Play of a PS1 game that never existed, genius! And it's not the usual 3D high budget title Sony wanted to push to get more money. It has 2D sprites in a colorful world. Petscop meet Henry Upperhead. All that aside, Petscop not only wants the viewer to know every detail of what the player says, which is not a lot, but also every detail about the world. Like Silent Hill 2, this game is filled with symbolism that may seem absurd on the surface. However, the one autistic person will go through their special interests to find out that, hey, this Daisy parallels to the Daisy and Maisie story for some reason. At this point, going through the video, theorizing about everything, or straight up listening to theories just puts you inside this horrifying rabbit hole. The lack of jump scares allows you to explore these videos at your own leisure. Pitscup feels eerie, creepy, and the cheat code at the start makes it look like this entire title is forbidden. Pitscup should not exist, yet here we are. I love Pitscup. Although a YouTuber had to explain the ending for me because I thought it was a sad ending and wasn't a real ending, but Siganox! Other weird autistic horrors began popping up here and there, with one that was often talked about, and it was cat ghosts. Cat ghosts can be described as cute animals doing cute stuff in a very sitcom-like way at first. However, plenty of odd things start to happen to the point where you need to go full analysis mode to understand it, with its combination of recognizable characters, subtle world building, and that one phase that has plagued my sleep schedule, etc. It all feels like it caters to my autism. Plenty of interactive elements existed, but they no longer are active right now. So that's quite sad, since that meant that there were both cartoon and video game elements in this web series, which means even more autistic potential is now lost. I legit don't want to spoil Cat Ghost, although I will spoil that Moist Critical is voicing Gideon. I ain't touching him with a 10-foot pole today because the last thing this video needs is drama content. Also, the Cat Ghost gang hates Vor if I remember well. I love Cat Ghost's experimental nature, as it's not just a scary cartoon, it's an artistic experience or something. An autistic experience even. If you ask me about what happened to bring analog horror to its current state, it's gosh darn FNAF fans. Of course it's Five Nights at Freddy's fan. Someone decided to make a low-budget VHS tape that are essentially training videos. The whole aesthetics feel more colorful to watch than Local 58, while the already recognizable mascots are present in this horror web series. So even people who do not care about this franchise anymore, like me, can admire its storytelling, analyzing every aspect of the tape that just makes my hamster wheel in my brain be like, rolling around at the speed of sound, got places to go, gotta follow my I wonder who made this. Oh, artists can be very important, but can also be a-hole. That's what I learned by going on Martin Wall's Twitter account. I don't think there's anything wrong with him, he just annoys me. Despite that, I was stuck watching The Walton Files for a while, especially during the pandemic. This web series was stuck in development hell for a while after all, mostly due to an accident. So what I watched could be described as a mix of found footage, an horror cartoon, and a mixed media project. The uniqueness of the art mirrors the creativity of the way the format's limitations are used. Yes, it has those spooky SpongeBob close-up jump scares, but these designs impress me far more than FNAF ever did. the unsettling animation too. So of course, the show will make me scream like Boozoo in that one fandom. I loved this show until I had to wait for the 4th episode. I lost interest after a while, even more due to Martin Wall's Twitter. Now I just don't care at all. The music still slaps though. Thanks to that, analog horror became even more insane. The backrooms also popped up for some reason, so that coupled with the analog horror aspect meant more colorful kind of horrors that led to the creation of dreamcore. Stuff that's basically the aesthetics of dreams. However, people started putting so many weirder dreams aesthetics that it was called weirdcore now. Wet dreamcore when? More colorful settings, creative characters, eyes, biblically accurate angels. The mishmash of all of these aspects give one heck of the style to this kind of horror. It feels so unsettling yet so comforting at the same time. The mixed media aspect is exploited here to the max, with everything happening all of the time. I was having an okay time with Warrior Cats. Watch this video. So the map felt like one heck of an introduction to the genre. I read 36 Warrior Cat books, but I don't even know what's going on. You'd be surprised by how much horror can be found online with the amount of different formats. Petit Poisson was also done a few games, has contributed a lot to Warrior Cat's horrors, with multiple intriguing ideas. Other people too. Copy the Cat has done this mix of 2D animation and cat pictures. The result looks unsettling due to the intentionally choppy animation Copy the Cat also has done. Wait, I got lost. Quite a few people use Dreamcore to create their web series, although at this point any forms of nostalgia are used to create any kind of horror. Religion, Mandela Catalog, outdated CG, Battington tapes, Cookie Trip, etc. Stop motion? Nah, that has been exploited for a long while. I think a bigger amount of variety of horror led to a variety of formats. Of course, early internet with its flash games came back as spooky. Again, another Five Nights at Freddy's fan decided to create a web series around it. Another one! This time, Fazbear Toddler Fun is about an haunted late 90s / early 2000s activity center disc, which again works without any knowledge of FNAF. Since it isn't based on VHS tapes, we can all call this genre digital horror. This genre is even more colorful, thus appeals even more to my autism. Don't worry, we get even more characters that are marketable. I'd say Chess Kids went all out with its basic character design, creative use of mixed media, secrets, symbolism, etc. I love Chess Kids. Milton's Matlas creates the same effect in a very different way. So this is what horror has come to. An interesting amount of variety of horror is only a click away. Anyone or anything can participate in it. Even Naruto. Wait, Naruto has created an anime? Believe it! Oh no, Naruto, why are you burning down Toei Animation? Believe it! I took the studio's equipment and made Reinhardt Kawaii Quest. Naruto!
Yeah, I am with my ninja clan. Ninja clan, here we stand.
Reinhardt Kawaii Quest is a very amateurish anime about cute stuff happening. Then there's Rain, Tumblr post, and it is linked to a cult. The drawing / quality of animation looks terrible, intentionally so, since I grew up in an era where anime almost became mainstream. So a bunch of kids, me included, tried drawing anime, so this web series aesthetics goes very well with my childhood. It feels legendary. It also overuses anime tropes while the jokes intentionally land harder as well. Quite a few interactive elements exist, but the ARG focuses on the web series, which again reminds me of my autistic butt trying to draw anime in an earnest way. The Tumblr posts also add to the autistic aspects for reasons beyond anyone's comprehension. I'll just put a Tumblr simulation clip here.
You dare come to my house and disrespect my anime.
Kinda don't want none unless
You get me a PS4 for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Your anaconda is going to have to wait, like 3 or more years.
So Reinhardt Kawaii Quest manages to both make me laugh yet freak out. Congratulations, Naruto. I hope life gets better for you in therapy. Believe it! Honestly, that sort of is where I want to end the video, as we have covered most types of horror that could be autistically appealing. The closest to anything new would be the Treehouse incident, although we have talked about the Dream Core, so screw it, I'll make a sequel next year, probably starring spooky SpongeBob close-ups. Web horror has plenty of depths to explore. Either way, thank you for watching, please like and subscribe, and bye! Happy Halloween!